You must be quite a girl. Want to bet?
He wasn't the traditional leading man, but there was something about Jack Lemmon that was incredibly familiar. He always had a welcoming presence and brought humanity to every role he ever played. Now, it might have taken a lot to rile up some of the characters he played, but once you did, you better get out of the way.
I may be just a wet, insignificant out-of-towner, but you people took up with the wrong person.
And at the heart of that was a man of enormous integrity. And that's what he brought to his roles, his life, his world, and into the rehearsal room.
Let's just sit back and ponder that, shall we?
I first met Jack at the age of 13. It was at a seminar for drama students in Los Angeles. I read a scene for him, and afterwards he placed his hand on my shoulder and told me, "That was a touch of terrific, kid. You ought to do this professionally." Well, 11 years later, I found myself back in a rehearsal room auditioning for Jack for the role of his son in a Broadway production of Long Day's Journey into Night. I won the part, and it was a role that would ultimately take me around the world with Jack for subsequent performances. In the course of that time, he became a great mentor, great friend, an extraordinary sounding board, and in many ways, a father figure to me, and he remains so until his passing. I first discovered him on television when I was quite young in a showing of Mr. Roberts, which is an amusing, brilliant farcical turn amidst the somber subject of men going to war. And there he was, this young actor at the time who'd been working in theater, suddenly finding himself surrounded by the likes of Henry Fonda and James Cagney, without question.
Yes, who is it?
He held his own.
It is I, Ensign Pulver, and I just threw your stinking palm tree overboard. Now, what's all this crud about no movie tonight?
Jack fit so easily, so perfectly into the tone of comedy, but at the same time, the tone of a dramatic piece, that he defied categorization. If you look at The Prisoner of Second Avenue, for example, it's an incredibly funny performance. But at the heart of it is a deeply emotionally disturbed, angry, frustrated man seeking a way to exorcise his demons and get back at the world that he feels is tormenting him.
Respect my ass!
That paranoia was expertly expressed in what seemed like a comic performance, but it has this enormous level of pathos.
Now, what about seeing the analyst again?
Dr. Paik, he's dead. 6 years of my life and $23,000. He got my money. What does he care if he gets a heart attack?
There are other good doctors. You can see someone else.
Oh, what's the use, Scott? I don't know where I am, who I am. I'm disappearing. I don't need an analyst. I need lost and found.
And the thing about Jack, for anyone who knew him and had the good fortune to spend time with him, was that he was a genius in how to make people feel good. No matter what had happened to him in terms of Hollywood glory, it never went to his head. He was the most generous person I have ever come across in the entertainment business. One of Jack's greatest friends was also one of his best co-stars. He and Walter Matthau were complete opposites in style and temperament, and yet they had this extraordinary chemistry.
See you later, Gustafson.
Tone of their voices, the way they bounced off one another, fast-moving. They never waited for an audience to catch up.
Watch it. Somebody may walk through that door any minute.
You bet! And it's gonna be me.
Harry.
I'm walking out of here on my own 2 feet and without this damn corset.
Are you crazy? After all we've gone through? We've got them over a barrel now. They're already trying to settle.
You seen the way that guy looks at me? I'm letting him off the hook.
Harry, you walk out of here and they'll get you for fraud.
Let him!
I had the enormous pleasure of co-starring with Jack in my first major film role. I got to play his boss in Glengarry Glen Ross, a character that required me to be very mean to Jack on camera, which wasn't easy to do because I loved him so much. But by this point, we'd done 3 other projects together. We trusted each other, knew each other's rhythms so well that we could get to where the film wanted us to go. And what a huge highlight for me to begin my film career alongside Jack Lemmon. There is something to be said for what Jack Lemmon became ultimately, which was, I think, a great American icon. Someone that was able to represent all of us. So the canon of his film performances will stand the test of time, because all of us recognize the feelings and emotions of the everyman that he played so well and so often. I always thought that Jack, although he didn't share a great deal about his personal life with the public, I felt like every time he walked on the screen, he was sharing all of himself with all of us. For Turner Classic Movies, I'm Kevin Spacey.